The dark forest was the last place I wanted to go, but I had no choice. I had to get to the gas station.
Oh, they throw weapons. I forgot about that. Wow. What was that?
What the hell was that? When I saw the river below, something uncoiled itself inside my head. I realized that I'd have to find a way across. I didn't even want to look at the water.
So far I'm definitely finding the game interesting. It just sucks that I have to play on normal, so I can't truly like this game until I understand how the balance is like on Nightmare. I did see someone post on a thread that Nightmare isn't really that bad. So I'm hopeful for that.
Barry Wheeler was bouncing off the walls.
Barry Wheeler.
His calls were ignored by both Al and Alice for several days. It could mean that they were both on a second honeymoon, but Barry didn't buy it. Al had been way too unstable for that, not sleeping, messed up. Barry had years of experience dealing with Alan Wake, and he couldn't ignore it. Something was wrong.
So does anyone know of any other games where you can only get certain collectibles on higher difficulties? Because I've never heard of a game before this. It's interesting. You know, it reminds me of Tatari difficulty from Ghostwire Tokyo, because Tatari difficulty, it removed XP entirely. You could only get unlock points from getting those case files from KK. I've never heard of a higher difficulty doing that, which was interesting. So Alan Wake is one of those unique games that does something interesting with a higher difficulty I've never seen before. But of course, it's related to collectibles, not really related to gameplay mechanics. Oh, there's something here. It's like the whole idea of the coffee. I mean, coffee's related to sleep because it gives you high energy. It's filled with caffeine, which makes falling asleep a lot harder to do because of the amount of energy you get from that. But what does coffee have to do with a nightmare, though? Because wouldn't that be bad to have a lot of caffeine in your system?
Stucky was still out there, in the dark, stalking me.
I think Stucky's a boss, actually, now that I think about it. If I remember Seraphim 17's walkthrough correctly. Whoa. We just got a trophy out of that. Oh! Okay, that's pretty awkward. Good thing I have the PS5 version so the game can load fast. Ah, forget them. Oh, the mantling is so bad in this game. Why is it so awkward? He's not getting locked onto the surface that he's trying to climb on. He's just kind of doing it independent of the surface. So it's leading to clunky detection, and he's just grabbing onto nothing.
The staircase was broken. I had to make my way up some other way.
Oh, wow. The stamina penalty is really high in this game. Oh, and I'm dead. Damn it.
I heard them before I saw them, swooping down from the sky and screeching as they came. I spun around just as the cloud was upon me. For an instant, I stared into 100 dead eyes, black pearls glittering in the darkness. I raised the flashlight and the swarm exploded like fireworks. Feathers burned, turned into ash. I couldn't hear my scream above theirs.
Oh, it's a rifle? Oh no, that's a shotgun, sorry. How do I change the allocation? I don't like how you can't change the allocation. For a game that has a D-pad system for selecting weapons, why can't you change the allocation? That's so dumb. And it's strange how it's mentioning the crows in that manuscript, yet we're not really encountering them right now. I'm so used to automatically getting on ladders, or just pressing X to get on ladders in the Evil Within. Not a big fan of the detection. The detection on certain interactions could have been a lot better. I feel like in the Evil Within I would have gotten the detection on the ladder just then.
Well, I was just outside for a breath of fresh air, and what a night. I know most of you are probably in your beds by now, but if you're still up and around, take a moment. Step outside for a spell and breathe in deep. The weather is absolutely still. The sky is crystal clear. It's like the forest is quietly breathing along with you. listeners know. I'm a night owl, and it's on nights like this I wish I wasn't cooped up in the studio. Makes an old man like me wish I could just roam wild. But here I am, and who'd keep you company all night long if I weren't? It looks like I'm not the only one staying up late. Caller, you're on the air.
Hey, Pat, it's
Oh.
Maurice Horton.
Hello, Maurice. What are you up to?
Well, I was just taking Toby on his walkies.
Oh, isn't it beautiful
Walkies.
out there?
Okay.
But Pat, the reason I called is that Toby heard something rustling in the undergrowth and took off after it, and I couldn't find it.
Probably a rabbit.
Sure. Toby loves rabbits.
Well, sure.
Anyway, I figured that, if anyone runs into Toby, they could grab him. My number's on his collar.
And Toby's a friendly dog?
Toby loves people. Usually he comes back, but we were pretty far from home, and it sounds like he went pretty wild there. Great dog, but he's just too dumb for his own good.
Well, Maurice, it's out there now. Hope Toby comes home soon.
Yeah, thanks, Pat.
You have a good night now.
I wonder what that's all about. Why would this be specific to Alan in this so-called dream world? In fact, if Alan is writing this story, why would he even need these radios? That's a bit confusing.
At first, I kept finding the pages as if by accident. The book I couldn't remember was either a terrible and true prophecy or an act of creation that had rewritten the world. I began to hunt the pages feverishly, for they held the answer to the mystery. With it, I could save myself. With it, I could save Alice. The gas station was closer now, its light welcoming in the darkness.
So what are these radios meant to just relay information to the player that Alan has heard these radios and his mind has just stuck to whatever he's heard in those radios? Because there was something specific about the way the person on the radio was speaking, something about his voice, something about the context of the events he's talking about, and he's just kind of applied it here to his own mind. Because they're talking about dogs right now. It's all very strange, and yet Alan doesn't really believe it's a dream. Okay, so when the wind starts to pick up, it means enemies are nearby. That's why the wind gets really loud sometimes. I hear something. Okay. Yeah, I just kept hearing something. I wasn't sure what it was. I don't know if enemies respawn in this game. Didn't Serum 17... Oh, random spawn. I remember that from his walkthrough. Oh, shit! I thought there'd be an invisible bear. I didn't think he'd just walk off the edge like that. So I believe Alan Wake is, like, a wide linear game, not like a truly linear game, because I believe there are some open areas to it.
Eerie hand-painted graffiti was revealed by my flashlight. Someone had hidden a chest of supplies near it.
Well, at least I found a flare gun. So, I know a lot of people like to say that Alan Wake is one of those games where you can kill enemies using light, like flash grenades, but, like, I don't really consider it on the same level as Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6. Because, like, the flash grenades, I mean, what game have you ever heard of where flash grenades can actually kill enemies? And doesn't this game have flash grenades? But I just feel like the utility of the mechanic is a lot more interesting compared to, Alan Wake. Because it's just kind of a general thing you do in Alan Wake, whereas in Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6, you don't even realize it's a mechanic until you experiment with it. Which is one of the coolest things about Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6. And there's one of the random spawns, so I gotta be careful. He's gonna throw his weapon at me, I believe. They're right behind me.
Science. It bestows immortality on those who advance it to elevate all of mankind. Newton, Einstein, Sagan, princes among men. But the price for such a legacy is steep indeed. In Night Springs. Tonight's episode, a quantum suicide. If our lives are already written, it would take a courageous man to change this.
That is, I believe, what is called determinism. If our lives are already written, it's like everything's already preordained. That's called determinism.
Having called a press conference, Dr. Barclay Colvin is about to demonstrate that very courage.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, I am Dr. Barclay Colvin, and I'm glad so many of you could join me here at the Moorcock Institute. Tonight, I'm going to give a practical demonstration of the many worlds interpretation.
I'm not really sure what specifically the many worlds interpretation is. Is that relating to like alternate reality or like something related to atoms coexisting in the same space because atoms are mostly empty space. I don't know if that's true or not. If atoms are mostly empty space and that atoms, when they vibrate at a certain frequency, they can actually exist in the same space as other atoms that vibrate differently, and this is what technically allows for like alternate dimensions or parallel dimensions rather. Is that what many worlds interpretation is relating to? I'm not really sure about that.
As you can see, this is a loaded 9mm pistol. It shall be part of a thought experiment. And now, a real experiment, known as a quantum suicide.
Did he say suicide? Is that a real gun? He's kidding, right?
Please, stay calm. There is no risk. Observe what occurs when I place the weapon against my own forehead. Now, you might think this round is merely a dud. Not so. Observe the flower pot. And yet, I myself cannot be harmed with this gun. With each pull of the trigger, two new realities branch off. One in which the weapon...
Yeah, that's what he's talking about. But why is it called many worlds interpretation? You're talking about like the idea of timelines and like the branching timelines, because like they touched upon this in Avengers Endgame. Like I already knew about this concept way before Avengers Endgame, and you're like Dragon Ball Super did a great job at explaining the whole idea of branching timelines and the like. But why would they call it many worlds interpretation? That's related to space, not time. That's confusing.
And one where it did. With my machine here, I have ensured that this reality is always the form.
Now I'm starting to think back to that Justice League movie, that really old Justice League movie that had Owlman as the main villain, and he wanted to wipe out Earth Prime because the whole idea of choice created so much chaos, and he had this very extreme point of view on how to wipe out all of choice and wipe out all of chaos and the like. The whole idea of many worlds interpretation played a role in that film. I mean, it's a pretty silly film. And I remember at the end of that movie, he's like, it doesn't matter because there is probably going to be some branching reality where he actually succeeded in his plan to wipe out all choice, wipe out all of the worlds that spawn from Earth Prime. I don't know.
I have bestowed upon myself quantum immortality. Under no circumstances can...
Wait a second. Is this related to Quantum Break? Were they subtly hinting towards Quantum Break when this game released? Because Quantum Break covers such concepts like this, I imagine.
This gun kill me.
And I believe Remedy also developed Quantum Break. I believe that's actually the case.
So wait. What you're saying is that every time you pull the trigger, in another reality, you die?
Yes, of course, but that's completely trivial. There's an infinite number of things that could happen at any moment, and they always do happen somewhere. The point is, this one thing did not happen here.
You're insane, Colvin.
Insane? Insane?
Hey, was this thing supposed to be plugged in? I stumbled on it.
You fools! Gaze upon quantum immortality.
Poor Dr. Colvin, felled by his own hubris or the ignorance of the masses. Perhaps he should have left the crate unopened, the decaying atom unobserved. Curiosity Office.
Is this meant to be a parody of the Twilight Zone, or sort of an homage? I think that this is meant to be an homage to Twilight Zone. It has to be. But again, what relevance does this have to Alan? Why is this showing up here? Is this going to play a role in the enemy types we'll be encountering in this section right over here? Like, what other reason could there be? There's a manuscript here.
The cabin on Cauldron Lake? She asked. The sheriff looked at me suspiciously. The early morning light flooded through the office windows. I would probably never have gotten out of the woods alive without her help. But I couldn't tell her the truth of what I'd faced the previous night. She'd think I was lying or crazy. She'd lock me up, and she wouldn't help me find Alice.
I don't know if the menu here is listing all the manuscripts in chronological order.
It can be dangerous. It requires patience. Even with the engine takes to rule.
Oh! God damn it. So you can focus the flashlight for a bit to stun enemies. Not just then, though. So, do these blow up? No, they don't blow up, it seems. This guy loves to teleport around, it looks like. And he's having a lot of trouble getting to me. Almost there. There we go. Unlike Stucky, you enjoy incontestable health benefits, namely you're not dead. Oh, so that was Stucky. Okay.
Stucky's body vanished, leaving behind only a lifetime of nightmares to come. Assuming I'd reached the lights at the gas station alive.
So why did he envision Stucky as this axe murderer?
I recognized the parade float I had seen in Bright Falls when I first arrived with Alice. After the insanity I had just experienced in the darkness, the lights of the gas station felt comforting. At least for a moment, the sane world reasserted itself. The garage was a mess. It looked like someone had trashed the place, or that there'd been some kind of fight.
I'll keep writing. Outside, there's only darkness. Outside the cabin, outside the story, there's only darkness. I can feel a presence in the dark. Just now, I could smell her perfume. I'll reach her. I'll fix it up. I'll bring her back. The story will come true. If I stop, she's lost.
I don't believe this. It'd been me on the TV, talking crazy. Was I losing my mind?
Are we still on episode 1? I don't know. Or are we on a different episode? I think we're still on episode 1. Yeah, we are. Wow, episode 1 is very long.
The Deer Fest had been 2 weeks away when we arrived. If the day count on the banner was right, I was missing a whole week between the night we got here and now. Stucky spat on the garage floor and tried to shake the cobwebs from his head. Ever since the couple never showed to pick up the keys, things had been fuzzy. Something, a feeling caught his attention. Stucky looked up and stared as his brain tried in vain to process the horror before him. He stumbled back, knocking over a can of oil. A black pool spread across the floor while he struggled for a brief moment, then let go as the unrelenting darkness engulfed him.
Great Falls Sheriff Station.
Well, we're not going to hear the conversation that occurred?
Oh, thank God, Sheriff.
Sheriff Sarah Breaker, you are...
I'm Alan Wake, but listen, I was in a car crash. My wife, Alice, she's missing.
Calm down, Mr. Wake.
We were staying in a cabin on the island, on Cauldron Lake.
There's no island on Cauldron Lake, not since the big eruption in the 70s.
Please, I can take you there, okay?
You look like you've taken a pretty bad knock to the head. Are you okay?
Listen.
We'll figure this out. Please get in the car. We'll swing by the lake and then we'll go to the station, okay? Mr. Wake, have you seen Stucky, the guy who owns this place?
I realized I couldn't tell her what had happened in the forest. She wouldn't have believed me. And then she wouldn't have helped me with Alice.
He's saying the lines from the manuscript. What is going on? And how did she not get attacked by the creatures? Or the Taken? Like, how we transition back to the real world? Like, why now is this happening? I don't understand. We were in the nightmare world, but are we back in the real world? I'm so confused. Is she another figment of this nightmare world? I don't understand. And again, like, Alan's not even voicing the question of whether it's real or not. He's just kind of going with it like he's in a dream. It's so odd. The manuscript is describing the events that are happening right now, so this is odd. I really don't understand. Is it a dream? Is it something he's writing? It's flip-flopping right now. I mean, maybe that's the point, though. Maybe that's what they're trying to go for with this. But I expect the characters' personalities to actually fit either of those scenarios, but I'm not really understanding where Alan's character is lying at this moment. Okay, so the cabin is gone.
Previously on Alan Wake.
Oh, it uses a format similar to Revelations 1.
Alice.
Thank you for coming here with me. I thought maybe you...
That makes sense, because I believe Quantum Break did the same thing as well. Like, Remedy's games are normally, like, story-focused. Wasn't Control a Remedy game?
I don't want to hear it. God damn it, Alice. Now, she's missing. Alice? Alice? I woke up behind the wheel of a crashed car. I'm missing a week. I was attacked by shadowy men straight from a nightmare. The sheriff took me to the lake Alice and I had stayed at. But the cabin had disappeared.
3 years ago.
Honey, I'm home.
Back here, sweetie. How was it?
Worst weather I've ever seen.
You should put some coffee on. It'll warm you up.
Oh yeah, now that I think about it, wasn't Quantum Break supposed to be like a TV series? A video game that kind of plays out like a TV series? Because that's kind of the format that Remedy uses with their games. I think Alan Wake is kind of doing something similar.
Coffee's on.
Great, thanks. I'll need it if I'm gonna finish this by tomorrow.